Right, welcome back to you. Now, tennis in our country still has many challenges ahead to get the country to produce regular world beaters. This weekend, Tuks Tennis Centre welcomes a coach who has been part of Wimbledon Champion Andy Murray's camp. Maclagan is here to impart some of his knowledge. He joins us now via Zoom for a bit of a chat. Miles, good day to you. Thank you so much for your time. Before we chat about the Tuks clinic that is taking place this weekend, could you please take us back to what it was like working with Andy Murray and what exactly you think is what sets him apart from the rest?
Hi, well, thanks for having me. Well, amongst many things, I mean, he was a talented individual, but a very hard worker and extremely driven as well. So as I learned is the case with, I think, all successful tennis players and probably most successful people across all occupations, but was extremely driven, able to withstand, a lot of disappointment. So often these the top players after disappointment they come back even stronger. But I think the thing I take from my time with him is just how hard he was willing to work.
Now, Miles, as you would have heard me say in my intro, South Africa, of course, is still facing a few challenges in terms of ensuring that we produce more world-class tennis players. What are some of these challenges? For the benefit of our viewers, can you shed some light on what some of these challenges are and what you think needs to be done to start curbing these challenges?
Well, it's a tough question, and I think anybody you ask, you'll probably get a different answer from everybody. I mean, the facilities are there, and we'll talk in a minute, being at Tuks this weekend. I mean, beautiful courts, you've obviously got the weather. I think one of the challenges, of course, is that South Africa is a long way from Europe and from America, so it's not cheap for players to travel. It's not cheap for coaches to travel to gain expertise. And so you're kind of a little bit away from the hub, which is always a challenge. You have countries like Spain and France, they've got so many tournaments. So players don't really ever need to leave the country until they're probably in the top 200. It would be great to see. This is I'm from just up the road. I lived in Zimbabwe until I was 13, and to see. We've had our share of some really good African players, and was the Black family up in Zimbabwe, and then of course we've got Kevin Anderson, Lloyd Harris is doing very well, but there's no reason why with the athletic talent on display that we couldn't have a great South African tennis player. And I mean, it would be great for tennis as well. Tennis loves having champions from all around the world, so you get all sorts of people, all nations tuning in to cheer for their player. So I think where South Africa is a challenge. It does take money to produce players, because you've got to get to the tournaments, you've got to travel around. So I think generating that interest and also perhaps the belief, that's something I've been talking a little bit about this weekend for young boys and girls from this part of the world to really believe that they can also be professional tennis players.
Back to the Tuks Tennis Centre, the clinic that was taking place. I saw some lovely pictures with you and some other people there. Just a quick one there. Give us a sense of what you've made, of what you've seen thus far at the clinic, and it's more especially the talent that you've seen being displayed there. What is your take on that?
Well, my first impression when I got there, I loved the site. And of course, it's part of a series leading up to the Africa Cares Tennis Challenge. So it's great that I've been brought across for that. And I think there were, the coaches were very engaged. I enjoyed it. I always say it's. I certainly don't know everything, but if some of what I shared can help them go along their way. And then so yesterday I had a day with the coaches. Today the coaches and the kids, and that was the messages for them was, I grew up in Zimbabwe in a little place. You think you're sort of intimidated by the Americans and the Germans and the French, but why can't it be you? Why, if you've got the athleticism, and I talked about the story, of course, of the South African rugby captain. What a story that is, coming from his humble beginnings. So people can overcome hardships, and in some ways it's not nice at the time, but that can forge you. So we know there's plenty of athleticism here, but maybe just the mindset because there haven't been a string of players from this part of the world that it's not so easy, and it's certainly not easy. But as I go back to that hard work I talked about, tried to say them, to tell them that with belief and hard work, the sky's the limit.
Miles, we have sadly run out of time, so we're going to have to leave it there for now. But thank you so much for joining us. That was Miles Maclagan, Andy Murray's former coach, talking about developing the game here in South Africa. Of course, we saw Tuks hosting their clinic this weekend.